I've been playing Marvel Rivals consistently since launch, and in that time I've learned quite a few heroes. But as I kept playing and learning about these characters, it's become more and more obvious that these characters are not built equal. Some with pretty disappointing movesets. Black Widow, Blade. So here's how I would rework every single Rivals character. Not buffs or nerfs, reworks. Because some of these changes would obviously need tweaking. Adam Warlock. Adam can now use Karmic Revival while in ghost form, using both abilities. Angela. Angela can now switch weapons independently from whether she's flying or not. While airborne, her spear loses speed while her axes are faster when not attacking. While airborne and using her axes, her charge now bashes her enemies forward, doing less damage. Black Panther. T'Challa's passive is now removed, replaced with a 0 to 100 meter that charges upon getting hit, and depletes while not in combat. When the meter is charged, BP does more damage and his base speed is increased. BP gains a new ability, letting him use his meter to create a shockwave like Doctor Strange. BP's dash now has a 0.5 second cooldown after use. Black Widow. Natasha can now use her E to grapple to surfaces, cutting the cooldown time in half. Her sprint is now infinite. Widow can now run on walls when sprinting for a short bit. Widow also gains a slide when sprinting. Widow's batons are now exclusive to her melee, applying a slow to her enemies. Her secondary is replaced with her electric wrist tasers, having 4 charges and applying a short stun and a small amount of damage to her enemies. Tasers are refilled upon death or hitting a headshot. Blade. Vampire mode is now always active while using a sword. Vampire mode's meter is now 3 small bars that last forever. Blade can now press E to consume one of his bars and give himself a burst of health at any time. His ult is no longer instant, moving forward slowly as Blade slices, gaining invulnerability. Blade can also now turn his ult as he moves, and he doesn't lose his ult when he cancels it. Captain America. When Captain America has a shield up, standing still will reflect projectiles in the direction he's looking. Captain America gains a passive, making him do more damage and gain speed while at 100 HP or lower. Captain America and Thor gain a team-up, Captain pressing a button to stand still and hold his shield up, giving Thor the option to jump to him and bash his shield, doing an AoE of damage as well as knocking enemies back. Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger's ult now changes depending on which character is selected when activated. If activated with Cloak, the ult grants a damage boost as well as blinding enemies in the ult. If activated with Dagger, the ult grants a healing boost as well as a speed boost. Daredevil. Sonic Pursuit no longer blinds enemies. Daredevil can now no longer see targets that aren't actively moving unless within very close range. Daredevil's ult is now never unusable, clearing him of any CC when activated. Deadpool. Nothing, he's fine. Doctor Strange. Strange gains a new ability, throwing his cape at a target and CCing them for a short bit. His Cloak of Levitation and his Maelstrom of Madness cannot be used while his cape is detached. The cooldowns for these moves are also reset when the cape returns. Strange also gains a slow fall. Elsa Bloodstone. Her bonus health is now based on instinct, only giving good shields when at full. Elsa's ult can now only be called back as far as Elsa was when used. Emma Frost. Emma's ult no longer grants CC immunity, unless while in diamond form, in which case she will stay in diamond form for the duration of her ult. Gambit. Gambit's ult now requires a card to be active for use. If Hearts is active, his ult grants a speed boost and health. If Spades is active, his ult will grant a burst of healing, then a damage boost and resist. Groot. Groot no longer has a reload. Holding Alt when placing a wall will let Groot rotate said wall. Hawkeye. Hawkeye's passive is now a persistent meter, going up much slower when aiming at enemies and losing focus when missing a shot. Hela. Hela's bird no longer gives her bonus health. Hela now has a reverse damage fall off, doing less damage while up close. Hela loses her stun, replaced with the new ability, summoning an axe. While summoning, Hela cannot move, but longer summons lead to a larger axe, doing more damage. Hulk. Hulk now has a rage meter. The more he attacks or is attached, the more the meter fills up, granting him more damage. Hulk's passive now allows him to climb freely on walls. Hulk's shield now has slightly more range, and can be used every 6 seconds at the cost of 20 points from your meter. Hulk's stun can now be used every 10 seconds at the cost of 20 points from your meter, and his clap can now be used every 3 seconds at the cost of 10 points from your meter. Bruce Banner's ultimate voice line is changed to Hulk Smash, and Hulk's is changed to Human Torch. Johnny Storm's flames on his screen are now no longer tied to his primary, instead tied to his dash and right click, and now recharges slower. Using his dash requires at least one flame, giving him an Ultron-like dash to start, then slowly draining his flames to keep flying. Invisible Woman. Stu Storm takes a hit to her base healing, but gains a second shield. Shields now no longer heal on their own, but can be repaired by shooting them, supplying a small AoE of healing. Her ult now supplies a burst of healing when placed, but no more healing after that. Her ultimate now can be walked through but not shot through, and can be destroyed/repaired just like her other shields. Iron Fist. Iron Fist loses his soft CC on his 4th kit. Iron Fist can now run vertically on walls. Iron Fist's self-heal now rapidly decreases his cooldowns when used. Bonus health is only rewarded when at full health and all abilities are available. Iron Man. Iron Man gains a new ability, letting him pull out a low HP shield moving at the speed of his unibeam. Jeff the Land Shark. His bubbles are reverted to their burst healing, then slight healing over time. Loki. Loki gains a new ability, selecting a target and creating an illusion of them, walking towards the nearest enemy as a distraction. Luna Snow. Luna no longer gains self-heal when using her freeze. Magic. Magic's damage fall-off is removed. Magneto. Metallic Curtain now converts damage blocks into rings on his back. When Magneto is at full rings, Metallic Curtain, Metal Bulwark, and Iron Bulwark damage blocks will be converted into bonus health. Mantis. Mantis's Inspire now grants a speed boost to her target, as well as clearing them from CC. Mantis's ult now also grants a small damage boost to allies within the radius. Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards gains a slow fall, becoming a human kite. Hard to hit from the sides, but easy from above or below. Mr. F gains a new ability, planting his legs and extending his torso in any direction he wants for 30 to 40 meters. Hitting the ability again while stretched will return you to your legs, while using his E ability will bring you to his torso, doing extra damage depending on how extended you were. Mr. F now has full control of his big mode, choosing when or if to use it. Moon Knight. Moon Knight's Crescent Start's damage will continuously be cut in half as they bounce between enemies. Namor. Namor's bubble is replaced by a dash, giving him a moment of invulnerability. He also gains a second charge of the ability. Penny Parker. Penny's primary now overheats after prolonged use, needing to cool down before it can be used again. Phoenix. Phoenix is now a support. Her base damage is decreased, with healing granted to allies when in psionic detonation or within range of a spark explosion. Dark Ascent now allows her to heal allies with her primary. Phoenix gains a new move, allowing her to resurrect an ally when near their body. The Phoenix Force now looks like a phoenix. Psylocke. Psy's Invis no longer grants her a movement boost, but lasts much longer. Psy gains a melee combo, using her sword to knock up enemies on the third hit. The Punisher. Punisher can now use his zip lines in the air, but it won't leave a zip line for later use. Punisher's smoke grenade no longer kills current momentum. Rocket Raccoon. Rocket gains a new ability, laying down a trap that pulls in enemies, then launches them up. Rocket's ult now also locks onto enemies, damaging them slightly and recharging health based on damage done. Rogue. Rogue's ability absorption time limit is removed, allowing her to carry the ability until use. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet's primary now needs to be aimed to lock onto the enemy initially, but can now be used on multiple targets as long as they're in range, and doing less damage depending on the number of targets. Dark Seal now no longer stuns, instead creating a field of illusion. Enemies within the field cannot see or hear outside of the field, instead only being able to see a peaceful field of grass. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl's primary now has momentum, losing momentum when not traveling downward. Damage dealt is based on the momentum of the acorn. Squirrel Girl's ult now travels to the last enemy hit by her acorns when hitting a wall, bouncing backward when no enemy is selected. Spider-Man. Spider-Man's Get Over Here and Web Swing now use the same meter as his web cluster. Spider-Man now has a reload, putting in a new web fluid to fully restore his web meter. Get Over Here can now be used on an ally, but never pulling them away from a surface. Star-Lord. Star-Lord gains a slow fall. Star-Lord's blaster barrage now refills his ammo. Storm. Storm gains a new ability, summoning a rain cloud over an enemy, slowing them and adding vulnerability. The Thing. Cooldown between leaps removed. Thor. Thor gains a slow fall, as well as the Cap team-up. Ultron. Allies with Ultron's drone gain extra healing when Ultron damages an enemy. Venom. Venom gains a second swing. His swing can now hit enemies, pulling them in when grounded. His swing can now be used along with his slam, pulling him into the environment or an enemy within a short time. Symbiotic Resilience no longer grants shield instantly, instead granting a fifth of the shields and healing over time. Winter Soldier. Shields are now only applied when hitting an enemy, only reloading his gun when missing. Tainted Voltage no longer slows. Wolverine. Wolverine's passive is replaced with Deadpool's, healing him when not in combat. And that's it. That's how I would rework all the characters. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.